we will move on from there.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I'm going to talk about this because this is kind of.
You got it, bro. Go for it.
All right. So Microsoft last week, I think, right? It was last week.
Yeah.
They purchased Blizzard. Oh, I guess it's Activision Blizzard for $68.7 billion. That's a lot of money. I think that's probably one of the biggest purchases we've seen in ever. Like Disney bought Star Wars for not even that much. Same thing with Marvel. You have right here, Facebook, they bought Instagram for only $1 billion, and that was a huge deal. Earlier, I think it was last year or 2 years ago, I can't remember. Microsoft bought Bethesda, and I think that was for $7 billion, and that was a huge deal for the gaming space as well. This is insane. So just to put it in perspective, they now own all of the Blizzard IPs. They own Candy Crush, which actually is a big deal, and they own Call of Duty, all of it. Because of Activision. And if you want the tinier things, which is kind of a bigger deal for us, Crash, Spyro, they also own them as well, but they probably don't care that much. They own all of that now, and that's crazy. And this is kind of a big thing for third parties, right? Because now it's okay, a massive third party just got eaten up by a first party studio, and that got a lot of people kind of scared because it could mean this merger of all video games being only bought by big three people, right? Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo. Nintendo probably isn't gonna buy anyone.
Yeah,
but Microsoft
they're chilling.
Yeah, they're just chilling. Nintendo just chills. They don't buy it. They don't even own Retro. They just let them do whatever they want. Sakurai is also technically a freelance guy. He just works with Nintendo. But anyway, so it's really between Microsoft and Sony, but it could just end up just buying all these studios, so they don't risk them being exclusive to that one platform. And that got a lot of people scared. I have my mind in two ways about this. My first thought when I saw this news in the morning of Tuesday, I was like, oh shit, Blizzard could be good again. And that's a really short-sighted way of seeing things. I think this is going to be an overall kind of a negative thing for gaming if Microsoft doesn't play nice, and I don't really expect them to, because you don't buy do a $68 billion purchase and not make this shit exclusive, right? You're gonna want to make all this stuff exclusive to your platform. Phil Spencer says here that he's gonna keep Call of Duty on PlayStation, which I kind of doubt. Maybe the next Call of Duty, because they probably are producing the next Call of Duty, right? That's probably in production already. Yeah. That's probably is going to be multi-platform. But I think after that, the future Call of Duty is going to be a little weird if they're going to just keep it on PlayStation or not. And I heard some other talks that, it also makes sense to make them all multi-platform because, again, it is a big purchase. So they probably don't want to just have all their income from one, their own source, because it probably won't make as much money if it was also on PlayStation. So, yeah, I could see both coins of it. But I think for the most part, they're going to keep most of the stuff only on Microsoft, on Xboxes and stuff, especially for Blizzard IPs. I think Overwatch 2 might come out on multi-platform, but after that, Diablo 4 might only be on, Xbox consoles and PC, obviously. That's obviously a big worry because it just means that if you don't have an Xbox or a PC at this point, you're going to be missing out on a lot of stuff. And that's that's just capitalism, you know what I mean? And before I get into the other stuff, do you have any thoughts on this huge ass purchase?
Of fucking course, bro. This shit was crazy because I kind of like you as well. I kind of woke up and I was like, wait, what the fuck's going on? Yeah. Because one of the group chats that I'm a part of, they were sort of blowing up, and I was like, what the hell are they talking about? And then I went on Twitter and I was like, oh shit, Microsoft did that, huh? Nearly $70 billion for this one company. And someone tweeted out, I'm not sure how true this is, but that's if they wanted to, they could purchase Nintendo with that much money, but obviously Nintendo would not say yes to that 100%. Yeah. Because I think that's happened in the past where Microsoft tried to buy Nintendo and then they just laughed at them. But anyways, this is a huge purchase, a huge acquirement. I think that the one thing that really stuck out to me was that when Phil Spencer was like, we're gonna renegotiate our relations with Activision Blizzard, and then they just fucking bought them, and I was like, okay, that's a Chad move if I've ever fucking seen one. That shit is just fucking crazy to me. But Yeah, I think the fear out of just like exclusivity and sort of keeping this all to Microsoft's self, like, there is that genuine fear there, and that's very warranted. But I feel like with the way that Microsoft has been playing their role within the gaming industry as of recent, they've been very friendly. They've been very sort of, like very willing to work with others as opposed to Nintendo, who sort of just, does their own thing, and that's fine. And as opposed to Sony/PlayStation, where they sort of just like try to get whatever they can and sort of, keep, competition on their side and sort of continue winning, quote unquote, the gaming generation of whatever console that they're in. So yeah, having things like Candy Crush, Call of Duty, Overwatch all under Microsoft is a little much, like that is very, very good for them, obviously. And with Activision Blizzard, with everything that's been going on internally for them, and people are wondering how leadership is going to be handled. I believe Bobby, whatever the fuck his name
Bobby
is,
Kotick, yeah,
doesn't matter to me. He's still going to be under Blizzard as of right now, but I think a lot of people are hoping that once Microsoft fully acquires them, because I think this will go into effect next year or something like that.
Yeah, it's gonna be next year.
So once that goes in, I feel like, or I hope that Microsoft just sort of like fires everyone from like sort of like very high positions of power and sort of rebuilds from there, because you sort of can't just like, have them, do like these therapy meetings and shit like that to be like, have you changed? And then they say yes, and then you just move on with it. No, like people aren't gonna let that shit slide anymore in 2022. So, I think that, if he stays on after Microsoft fully acquire them, that's a huge fucking red flag. But I feel like that's not going to happen, because Phil Spencer was very sort of adamant in terms of like, being like, we're going to renegotiate our thing with Activision. And I'm like, well, they're probably not going to say no to Activision games. So what the fuck are they going to do? They just bought them, and now they're just getting more of the pie, as Activision games are third-party games, and those are going to go to other platforms, including Nintendo and PlayStation. And for IPs like us, when it comes to Crash Bandicoot and Spyro, I'm wondering, are they going to make more games like that? Because Crash Bandicoot 4 was a very colorful platformer that a lot of people enjoyed, and sold decently well as far as I know. And I know that they also talked about reviving old IPs. So, people are bringing into the question of like Guitar Hero or, other IPs that are under Activision's belt and things like that. They are going to go back into their catalog of IPs and maybe dig up some old ones and revive them in some way, shape, or form, which can be very, very exciting. So yeah, whatever happens with this deal, I have full faith that Microsoft isn't going to fuck us over. And I'll say that now. And, hopefully a year from now, they aren't, being total, corporate douchebags and sort of keeping everything to themselves, because they have that full right to do so once this deal fully goes through. But, I feel like that they know that it just benefits the gaming sphere to just have everything the way it is right now, but just under their leadership and their management.
Yeah, and because of that, I highly doubt Bobby Kotick is going to live. Like, well, I mean, he's going to live, but he's going to be outed probably because Phil Spencer wants to keep that image. Like, I think he's really built Microsoft to be more of like the, we're gamers, and like, like he probably doesn't want Bobby Kotick to be here anymore. Again, it sucks that he's gonna like leave with a shit ton of money out of this deal. Like, he doesn't really care, right? Like, he doesn't care about video games or anything. Bobby Kotick, he just cares about his money and stuff. And this is like a perfect escape route to really just leave from. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. Like, to him, there's no real difference between like 140 million I think he was gonna get to like 400 something million he's gonna get now. Like, all that's like he already has anything he's gonna buy anyway. He just has more money now. Which, again, it sucks. But not to be like politically anything, but rich people just kind of just get away with anything anyway. Like, they can do whatever they want.
Yeah.
And which sucks, but just honestly, that's just kind of how it happens. Like, this man should be in jail, but he's not, and he probably would never be. But that's just kind of how it is. So it kind of sucks that he is like pretty much just getting away with this scot free. Like, he basically burned his whole company to the ground, and he's just like, okay, I'm just gonna like leave now that the stocks are going down. And Microsoft like saw that as an opportunity to just like buy Activision, which makes sense, but it was also just a good way for him to like get out of all this. So again, that sucks, but hopefully with a new leadership with Phil Spencer and just Microsoft in general, hopefully Blizzard employees and like everyone at Activision, Toys for Bob, Vicarious Visions, and all of them could get like just better treatment than they are right now, because it was really bad as we explained. And hopefully these companies could, do more things except just Call of Duty. I know Vicarious Visions was fused into Blizzard. Hopefully Microsoft could just like pull them out and like, hey, you guys can be Vicarious Visions again. Do what you do. And it's really cool because Toys for Bob, they're not even just limited to Crash or Spyro. They could do like a Banjo-Kazooie thing if they wanted to. They could do a Banjo like remake, like a re-jiggy edition or something. I don't know. Like that would be pretty cool as well. And yeah, Phil Spencer did say he was interested in reviving more of the classic IPs like Guitar Hero and like Crash and Spyro again. So a Spyro 4 coast would be good for those fans because they didn't get one. So I say the future is both bright and weird. It's really weird. I don't really know how I feel because I think the games in general will get better. Like, I think we're gonna get more like platformers, like from these classic IPs. We're gonna get better Blizzard games again. Thank God. Because I've been kind of dying here. I mean, no mention of StarCraft yet, but I really hope we get something with StarCraft. And hopefully Call of Duty can also improve its quality as well. Because Call of Duty, like Vanguard, no one talked about Vanguard. I don't think like anyone really cared about that game. So hopefully Call of Duty can also get a good boost in quality. And yeah, it's just kind of again, it's weird. I think overall it's kind of bad for like the overall gaming landscape to have less third parties, but I think it's better in this case because it was Activision Blizzard. You know what I mean? If it was like anyone else, it probably would have been bad. Like if Sony started buying like Square Enix and stuff and like all that, like that seems a little worse because Square makes good stuff for like Nintendo platforms as well. But they have to agree to it obviously, so it's not like I don't think they could just like yoink them without their consent or whatever. But it's gonna be interesting. And also this is totally unrelated. Blizzard's making a new survival game. It's like they also just announced that like, hey, we're making that. So that was kind of just there. So it's gonna be interesting to see what everyone does at this point. And we won't really see the effects of this for a few years, probably. Bethesda, we're just starting to see how that's gonna affect them with Starfield when that comes out this year, I think. So we're just gonna wait at least like 2 years or something. And see how this just affects everyone.
And like, going back on sort of like reviving old IPs, one of them I think was mentioned was like Skylanders, and I'm like, shit, like if they happen to do that, I don't know how they would, because I think a lot of people were sort of burnt out with sort of like buying toys and shit like that.
Toys for Life games.
But that sort of generation of Toys for Life stuff really defined like a generation of kids that were playing games, and that's kind of crazy when you really think about it, because Skylanders was like the first one to really do it. And in my opinion, like obviously like I was a little older, so I really didn't get into it. But when that sort of stuff came out, I was like, wow, this shit's like really popping off and like doing kind of well. People are out here trying to find certain Skylanders and certain exclusives and shit like that. And, it was very, very interesting times because, everyone else was sort of getting on that train with, the Disney Infinity stuff, even Amiibos to a certain extent. But obviously it's Nintendo, so they're able to sort of keep that alive in their own sort of like little bubble. But yeah, Microsoft buying Activision Blizzard, this is the biggest sort of business purchase in the gaming space so far, and I wonder if there's going to be any more in the future that are as big as this or even bigger, because it's kind of hard to beat $70 billion.
Yeah, I think everyone put the market caps. I saw on Twitter, and Activision Blizzard was definitely the biggest one. Like the next one, obviously EA is like 40-something billion, and I think EA isn't gonna want to just like let it go like that. I know EA bad and stuff, but they treat their workers well, so that's good. But yeah, I don't really see any other companies really wanting to do, like Sony has to do something, right? Because Sony's kind of sweating. They're like, okay, well, Sony's got like a great IPs, right? Like I'm always going to buy first party Sony games because I know they're good, right? And I like the IPs a lot. Blizzard's kind of just buying things. I'm not going to ever associate like StarCraft with like as a Microsoft IP, right? Like that doesn't really connect with me. But when I think of like Uncharted or Ratchet and Clank and stuff, like I'm always going to associate with Sony. Even like Crash and Spyro, I still associate with Sony more than Microsoft. Yep. So yeah, this idea of just buying your first parties is still kind of weird to me, because I just don't really associate them with like Microsoft. I don't really have brand loyalty with them still. So I mean, I use like Windows, but whatever. So yeah, it's kind of interesting their approach to this stuff. Also means Game Pass is about to get like a whole lot better.
I was gonna bring that up. Yeah, Game Pass is gonna be fucking insane. I mean, they're able to now dig into those library of games and now bring that to Game Pass as well, which, probably has Sony sweating, because, there was that rumor a month or so back with Spartacus, with the sort of like backlog of everything PlayStation related, including PS1, 2, 3, PSP, all of that shit on that one sort of service. And if PlayStation's able to pull it off, they might be able to match with Microsoft doing with Game Pass, but it would have to be at the same price and the sort of like same library of games that everyone sort of wants. You know, it can't be like with the sort of PS1 Classic with like a lot of those games people like, what the fuck is this shit, you know? Or
Right.
like with how Nintendo's doing their Switch Online stuff, which I doubt anyone else is gonna adopt that, where they're just like slowly turning out games for some reason. But yeah, Game Pass is already insane as like a service as is, and now that they have Activision under their belt, they're able to pull more games from that sort of library of games without having to, you know, go through multiple barriers to do so.
Yeah, like Game Pass is like such a good deal. Like, if you are just a type of person who just wants to play whatever they want, then just buy Game Pass. I had it for a little bit, and like, yeah, this is great, but I just don't really have time, because usually I want to play like the newer games coming out anyway. And usually not going to be too much on Game Pass. If you know, if it's a Microsoft exclusive game, then yeah, which I guess might happen now. But you know, that's just yeah. But if you just want to play whatever you want, then just get the Game Pass. It's a really good deal. But yeah. It's just a crazy thing. Like, I'm pretty sure this is like the biggest purchase that's happened.
Yes.
For like anything. Like, I don't think like I've seen, like, money is becoming so crazy now that I'm like, is this like normal now? Like $68 billion like a normal for a company?
It's like, shit, I got $20 in my account. Can y'all?
Yeah,
like...
I got $68 in my account. Is that enough? But yeah, again, so it's like I just, you know, maybe Overwatch 2 could come out now. And then, hey, look, I won't feel guilty about buying Blizzard games anymore. I know they didn't release any since that point, but you know, I could buy Overwatch 2 without feeling like an asshole. So that's good.
But yeah, I mean, that's all I really have to say on it. The last thing I really wanted to bring up was Game Pass. But is there anything else you'd like to add?